What's up, y'all? I'm Tom, and this is Like a Math Class. In this video, we are going to graph the sine and cosine function. Let's get to it. So our sine and cosine graphs really come from our knowledge and understanding of the unit circle. Now, the unit circle is something that we covered in another video. So if you're not familiar with the unit circle, make sure you check out this video here, so that way you can get yourself all caught up with how the unit circle works, what it is, and all that other good stuff. Once you have that foundation, you're good to go from here. Now, we know on the unit circle that we've got 4 key points that go around this circle. These are nice, easy numbers to work with because these values are going to be 1, 0, 0, 1, negative 1, 0, and 0, negative 1. And we know that these things are going to go for the different values of 0, pi over 2, pi, 3 pi over 2, and 2 pi. Now, these are important because these are going to be the key values that we're going to use when we're graphing our sine and cosine functions. So let's start with the first one being f of x equals sine of x. So what I'm going to do is I'm not going to worry about these other parts of the unit circle because these 5 points here, if I repeat this one 2 times, are all that we need to graph a function really easily. So I remember that sine of x always goes with my y values. So when I say f of x equals sine of x, I'm looking at these y values. And notice that on the x-axis here, these are all of our radian measurements. These are all the angles that we go around the circle. Here, these are the y values that we go around here on our unit circle. So for 0 radians, we're going to be at 0. At pi over 2 radians, we're going to be at 1. At pi, we're going to be back at 0. At 3 pi over 2, we're going to be at negative 1. And then at 2 pi, we're going to be at 0 again. Now, by graphing just these 5 points, it might look like it just goes like this. But if you're familiar with trigonometry, it's kind of a flow, right? It's like a frequency graph or a frequency wave or anything that you might have seen in your science classes. But we know that it's kind of this gradual wave like this. So that's what we want to mimic when we're trying to actually graph this on our paper now. Don't just do sharp points. So let's see, it's going to kind of come up and it's going to kind of round out there at the top, and then the same thing is going to happen as it comes back down. I'm going to try and make it as mirrored as possible. It comes through pi, and then it's going to have that same kind of rounded feel as we go down through the bottom at negative 1 and then back up again. Maybe I need to erase just a little bit right here. This kind of clean that up a little bit on the side there. All right, so that's from 0 to 2 pi. Now, if I were to continue following this thing back the other way, I would see that, oh, well, this is going to keep on going down, and then it'd come back up and down. So I could continue it going this way as well. And again, I'm just plotting these same 5 points. And then again, I'm going to kind of curve it down here. I'm going to bring it back up a little bit. Then I will curve it around and curve it down. So this is my graph from negative 2 pi to 2 pi. So let's look at what some of these different parts are. Let's break down what this graph is. The first thing we have is what's called a period. Now, a period is really just how long it takes to get back through one cycle. Now, we can see here that I started at 0, and yeah, I hit 0 here, but I hadn't gone through this portion yet. So a cycle here, or a period here, is going to be this blue line. Now, maybe you look from peak to peak. You could call this your period as well. So that's sometimes easier to find, or maybe from your minimum or what we call our trough, maybe that you use for your period as well. But really, your period is just how long it takes to go through one cycle. Next, we have what's called our amplitude. Our amplitude is how far or how high or how deep this goes. Now, if you wanted to find the amplitude, you could take your maximum value minus your minimum value, and you could divide that by 2. So if I knew that this value was 1 and I knew that this value is -1. I subtract those things divided by 2, I get a value of 1, so my amplitude is 1, which we can see here. But you're going to see when we get to our trig transformations that that amplitude is going to change a little bit. The next thing we have is called our principal axis. Your principal axis is just the line that your wave oscillates between. So I like to think of it like if I've got a stick or something like this, and maybe there's a snake going around this. I don't know, but that stick, that's going to be the principal axis as this thing goes around. It's not always going to be lined up on the x-axis. Sometimes this thing might shift up, sometimes it might shift down, but the principal axis is going to be the exact middle of that spot. And to find that is going to be very similar to finding the amplitude, but that's going to be the max plus the minimum divided by 2. Because now we want to find the average of this. We want to find the exact center, not this distance. This distance is for our amplitude, but this middle line is where we find the principal axis. And those are the key points of a sine graph. So here I've drawn 2 periods of this. 1 period, 2 periods. We've got our principal axis on the x-axis and an amplitude of 1. I hope you're finding some value in how to quickly sketch out this graph. If it has, give me a thumbs up. And also, I'm going to be building a website where I could be providing some more resources, some blank notes, and some other things that you can do as you're filling out this or watching as you go along. Keep an eye out for that in the description in the comments below. Now our cosine function, g of x equaling cosine of x. Now remember, these are all going to be the x values as we go around our unit circle. Now, even though they're the x values, we're still going to plot them on the y because the x-axis is still the radians. So again, I'm just going to plot these 4 or 5 points over and over again because those are the easiest to plot. I don't know where to find square root of 2 over 2, so let's just stick with the nice whole numbers and kind of go with it from there. So now we're going to start at 1. So now we go from 1, at pi over 2 we're at 0, at pi we're at -1, at 3 pi over 2 we're at 0, and then at 2 pi we're back at 1 again. And then if we went backwards the other way, if we went this way, we would again see, so if this is at 1, we've got to go back down. So we're going to go here to 0, down to -1, back up to 0, back up to 1. Now I sometimes do that because it's sometimes a little bit easier for me to draw when I go like this and I'm taking it all the way around here. But if you are not, if you're being asked to only graph between 0 and 2 pi, don't graph this stuff over here. I'm just graphing it now because I want you to see what it looks like. But if you're asked to graph on a certain domain, you've got to stick to that certain domain. Otherwise, you'll probably lose points on on one of the assessments. So there's kind of a rough graph. Let me try and clean this up just a little bit. It's not my best here, but I think you get the idea. You kind of have a good idea of what this thing is supposed to look like now. So again, if we want to look at the period, the amplitude, and the principal axis, it's going to be very similar. It's just shifted. So if we're again going between 0 and 2 pi, here's our period. Our period is going right here. There's 1 full cycle to get us back up to 1 again. So we're going through this whole bit. That's 1 period. So, you could, as I mentioned, you could go from trough to trough. That could be considered. You could look at that for your period. You could go from peak to peak like we just did here. That's okay too for your period. But really you're just, again, looking to see where is this thing going through 1 full cycle. Our amplitude is the same. Notice again that we're going from the center line up to 1 and the center line, the x-axis center line down to -1. And that center line we do again call the principal axis, right? There it is right there. So everything is roughly the same. You might notice it just looks like it shifted over a little bit. And we'll get into that with our transformations of trig functions in the next video. I'll see you there.